I want to share with you what wearing a continuous glucose monitor for 20 days did for me, what I learned, and what tips I picked up and that I will continue to implement moving forward. And I want to share all that with you so that you can implement them too. Hey, it's your girl Carmelle Jean-Francois, owner and founder of CFit Coaching. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another installment of the Sugar Savvy Solution, acclimating the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. Now, a few weeks ago, I promised you all that I would come back and report what wearing a continuous glucose monitor had done for me and what results I got from it. I'm excited and hopeful for what the future looks like, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, let's talk a little bit about what a continuous glucose monitor is. A continuous glucose monitor is a device that goes in the back of your arm. Once it's installed, it's able to give you pretty much real-time feedback on whatever you eat, drink, or even the activities that you take part in. That's huge. Real-time feedback to know that what that Snickers bar just did to me when I consumed it, or what the bowl of rice that I just consumed, or the broccoli, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, soda, wine, and also what your blood sugar levels are during the course of a workout. It's incredible. This device was created, I believe, with the diabetic in mind, the type 1, type 2 diabetic. And only recently is it now FDA approved to be sold over the counter. And when I say recently, I mean within the last 2 months. In March 2024, FDA approved the over-the-counter sale of Dexcom, which is the brand of CGM that I was wearing. So now it gives non-diabetics as well as diabetics an opportunity to purchase over the counter this important device that will enable them to see real-time effects on their blood sugar with regards to whatever they eat, drink, and however they partake in exercise and activities. Do you realize how empowering that is? Do you realize how much power we have with this device? Why is it important that we test our blood glucose levels even if we have not been diagnosed? In 2021, the ADA reported that almost 9 million Americans had type 2 diabetes and didn't even know it. So now this allows us to have the power to see if we are headed in the wrong direction without having to wait for our annual blood test results. So let me tell you what my experience with the continuous glucose monitor was. I was in the midst of a conversation with a nurse and I told her what I was doing with the Sugar Savvy Solution. As I was telling her about that, she told me about her weight loss journey and she told me how she used the continuous glucose monitor to do that. At the time, I had not heard of it. And she offered me a couple of these monitors. Each device is supposed to be worn for a period of 10 days. What I experienced during those 20 days was pretty incredible. And what I saw were the peaks and valleys of my blood glucose rising and crashing. And now I started trying to associate it with feelings of lethargy. Was I feeling tired at the time, beforehand, after? How did the crash reflect in my body? And I definitely started to see the correlation within that 90 minutes of consuming foods. But what it did show me was that even if I just walked around the block, I saw in real time, which was amazing to me, I saw in real time my blood sugar getting lower and lower and lower. And then when I sat back at my desk, it rose a little bit, but then it came back very gradually. So one of the key things that I noticed was in the first couple of weeks that I wore my continuous glucose monitor, I saw it rise like a mountain and come crashing down. And I came to realize that I was rising about 50% of my baseline. So the exercise really took it down to some rolling hills as opposed to those peak mountainous spikes and valleys. So as the weeks went by, I noticed some of the foods that would spike me. Even my whole food plant-based diet was spiking me in ways that I did not want to see. And then I understood what was going on. There is a sequence, an order in which we absolutely should be consuming our meals, and not to add so much confusion to what you're already eating, but taking the same items that's on your plate and eating them in a certain sequence makes a difference with how your blood sugar levels spike For instance, you want to eat your veggies off your plate first. And then we could go into the protein, whatever protein looks like for you. For me, it's tempeh and tofu. It's quinoa, it's lentils. And then we can dive into starchy vegetables, which would be our sweet potato, our rice, brown rice. And that is the order in which we would eat, making dessert the absolute last thing to eat. And the reason why is because of all the vegetables that we consume beforehand really slows down digestion. When digestion is slowed down, the influx of sugar into our bodies is slowed down. So we won't have that huge spike. Instead, we'll have the desired rolling hills. Because no matter what we eat, whenever we eat, we will be spiking. But what is truly detrimental to our body is how sharp that spike is and how sharp it comes down. By my last week of wearing the continuous glucose monitor, I was not as obsessed anymore for two reasons. One reason was because I kind of knew what was happening already, because I already that quickly had gotten used to consuming my foods in a certain sequence that would not spike my blood sugar. I had already gotten into habit of reducing a lot of my fruit from my morning smoothies, and I just got a better idea of what to eat, when to eat. And I did see it change if I had less sleep one night and more sleep the other night. So for instance, one night I had very, very little sleep, and my blood sugar levels did not rise, but went way low, where my phone was actually sending me an alert to warn me that it was low. There are so many variables with what happens in our bodies with regard to our blood sugar, and so many other things play a part in it. And the second reason why I wasn't so obsessed by the last week that I was wearing the CGM was because it got quite boring. I wasn't elevating as much as I was before. It was very calm rolling hills, and it was nothing to look at. It was nothing to look at. So I just didn't watch it as much because now I had implemented a certain way of eating and certain foods that would not spike me. And that was really, really good to know. So I don't know if you're wondering or if you're even interested in getting a continuous glucose monitor. It is not an inexpensive device. It's not. You may be eligible to receive one through insurance if you discuss this with your primary care physician or whoever it is that's handling and managing your type 2 diabetes if you are a type 2 diabetic. If you're not, you can look to see if your pharmacy actually carries the continuous glucose monitor for you to purchase. Another option will be to check in my description below. The nurse who gave this to me also shared with me a link just in case any of your clients, any of your followers are interested. They can get a discount coupon here. She's not making any money off of it. I'm not making any money off of it. I just know that this darn thing was life-changing, giving me insight on what was going on in my body real time after I consumed a meal. It was really, really incredible. And I would love for you to experience the same. So just go ahead and grab that link in my description. So my main takeaway from wearing the continuous glucose monitor is the fact that I was paying more attention to what I was consuming. And another thing was the importance of exercise. And so, I'm always about pick up a set of dumbbells, but I'm always telling you also to take a walk around the block. Now I saw it with my own eyes. Taking a walk around the block post-meal is so important, even if that's all you do. If you want to do a full-on workout, have at it. Even better, I would say. And so it's so important. It's so crucial. So take those things into consideration. And you don't have to do it after every meal. Do it maybe after your starchiest meal. Do it after your heaviest meal. And if you can't, just do it after a meal. But if you can't get it in after any one of your meals, should you go out and exercise anyway? 100%. And another thing that I learned from wearing the continuous glucose monitor for 20 days is the effects that having a vegetable before a starchier meal or a meal full of protein and fat, how much that also mitigates that blood glucose spike. Remember, we want it in rolling hills and not spikes. If anybody is interested in learning a little bit more about the continuous glucose monitor, reach out to me. I'll be happy to let you know more details about my experience, what continuous glucose monitors do, what they're used for, who it's for, etc. I just can't stop talking about it. I'm here to really guide you to be more savvy about your sugar. And I do that by guiding you on how to adapt a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Share this out with anybody that you feel that might be interested. And I'm thinking everybody might be interested in this. I'll see you next time.